Any people on the show. The Grammys are this Sunday. I'm telling everybody to work out all the time.
I just want 10-minute spurts.
All right.
That's all I'm looking for.
How about Lizzo?
Oh,
She
I
is
love
going to
her.
be front and center with 8 nominations. You may know, you may not. She did live in Minneapolis for several years before she hit it big. She does credit Prince for being part of her inspiration. And you hear talk about the Minneapolis Sound, and that's associated with Prince. But Heather took a look at what is the Minneapolis Sound. Prince did not start this.
You know, Prince, a lot of people credit Prince with this idea of Minneapolis Sound, which is something that's very specific. Technically, Minneapolis Sound would be like synthesizers or electronic drum machines and sort of this different combination of funk and soul and rock that we really hadn't heard before. But a lot of people look at this Minneapolis Sound as something different, as a way to break down barriers, as a way to kind of get into new music that we've never seen before. And that's sort of where Prince comes in. It actually started back in the 50s, the late 50s. It was very prominent in North Minneapolis, in the Rondo neighborhood of St. Paul. There was the first recording of it was back, some North High School students called the Big M made that first recording of the Minneapolis Sound. You go on in through the 60s, these groups faced a lot of discrimination back at that time. Clubs wouldn't play them, they would shut down. And Prince was one of the ones that really was able to sort of break through then in sort of the late 70s and 80s by bringing in all different kinds of people and all different kinds of genres and really being insistent and independent in what he wanted to do.
It was interesting to know that it started back in the 50s, like you mentioned, because when you think of the synthesizing sound and all that, it's more like the 80s to me. Really, you know. And we mentioned several or you had talked about several groups,
right?
That, you know, Sheila E., correct?
Yeah.
Sheena Easton was in there.
I mean, obviously you have Morris Day in the time. You have Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis, who did a lot for Janet Jackson, and then of course, you have Prince, who part of the reason we talked about this story is because you think the Minneapolis Sound is what it is.
It's very cool.
But
I mean,
Prince,
it's neat. It's very neat.
But Prince, in just himself as an artist and sort of expanding upon that, had the impact on so many artists that have come through here. So you may not consider Lizzo as the Minneapolis Sound, but the Minneapolis Sound effects certainly affect what she has done.
Yeah, the Minneapolis Sound, for Lizzo, there's not as much of that synthesizer. She is the powerhouse there, whereas a traditional Minneapolis Sound would have maybe more of a full band sound in the background, right?
But she is what they, you know, just as one of the artists I talked with, L.A. Buckner, I talked with yesterday, said the Minneapolis Sound is so unique, it's so distinctive, and that's sort of what Lizzo has taken. And this place here sort of allows her to break those barriers, allows her to go beyond into a different type of sound that we don't hear.
Well, today you have this idea where you can mash together hip-hop and pop music. Or you look at Old Town Road, which is a country song, or is it? Back when Prince was bursting on the scene, you really had more of a division. Like when you listen to music from the 70s, the rock music was rock, the disco was disco. You didn't have like Led Zeppelin doing disco.
One of the best stories that L.A. told me real quick before we go to the weather, because I wanted people to hear this because I thought it was great. He said back when Lizzo was first starting in Minneapolis, she would open up for other acts, and the other acts would sort of sit on the side and watch Lizzo and say, oh shoot, I have to follow that.
Can you imagine?
And he said that was what was happening with Prince back in the 70s here too, and so he just sees a lot of those parallels. It was a neat story to watch.
I wouldn't want to follow her either.
No.
Our house.
But you just have to follow this.
You're fine.
My
You're
weather is
great.
probably not going to be as exciting as Lizzo, trust me.